Microsoft PowerPoint is a great productive presentation software that is widely used in the computing environment. And this specific software allows users to create creative and elegant presentations. And based on that, I want to share with you some keyboard shortcuts. In fact, some useful keyboard shortcuts you can merge with your computer skills, and that is going to allow you to create these elegant presentations and also have much control over Microsoft PowerPoint. So let's get into these tutorials and identify these useful keyboard shortcuts. Now, this is my presentation that is very well created and it is opened on my desktop background. When you move to this section or this side is called the slide pane, and we have all these slides available, and currently I have 7 slides. If I want to select all these slides that I have here, maybe I want to delete them, or I want to make some modifications to these slides I have here. Now, selecting one of these slides makes one an active slide, and that is what you are going to see in this slide area. Therefore, if I hold Ctrl+A on the keyboard, this is going to select all these slides that we have here, and if I press the delete key on the keyboard, this is going to delete all the slides that we have in this Microsoft PowerPoint. And as you can see, we have nothing shown in the slide area, and I use a simple keyboard shortcut to select all the slides, and also I use the delete key on the keyboard to delete all the slides. If I want to undo this particular action, I can use Ctrl+Z on the keyboard. Therefore, I am going to restore all my deleted items, that is my slides that I have in the slide pane, and this is going to be an headache for anybody who is not a good user of Microsoft PowerPoint. By deleting all the slides, might think how to restore all this deleted item. If you delete a single item, you can also use Ctrl+Z to undo it. Now, in this case, when you get to a particular slide area, that is, if you have a slide selected in the slide pane, you are going to have its preview in the slide area. If I select this is the content I have in slide 3. If I select this is the content I have in slide 4. And as usual, if I select this is slide 5, and these are the content I have in slide 5. Now, if I click on a single item in a single slide, I have that particular item selected. If I select this and I hold Ctrl+A, this is also going to select all the content or the items I have in that particular slide. Therefore, if I want to delete, I can use the delete key on the keyboard, and that is going to make this slide a blank slide. And as usual, to restore or undo this action, Ctrl+Z on the keyboard. So Ctrl+A can be used to select items in the slide area and also to select the slides in the slide pane. Now, let me dive you to another option. If I select this, and these are individual items that we have in this particular slide, when I click in this makes this text box an active item. Therefore, in this text box, if I want to select a single word in this text box, I can double click, and that is going to select this particular word. What if I want to select all these text that I have here, and I want to exclude these items or this individual items that we have on this slide? I can hold Ctrl+A on the keyboard, and this is going to select all the text we have in this particular text box. And if I want to select all these items on this particular slide, then I have to click to make the slide active, and that is going to prompt PowerPoint that this is the slide that I have here and no item is currently selected. Therefore, if I hold Ctrl+A, that is going to select all the items in this particular slide. So if you want to select your items in a slide area, or if you want to select the slide that we have in the slide pane, then you should utilize the Ctrl+A. And anytime you want to undo the action, you can use Ctrl+Z on the keyboard. Now, in this case, I'm going to click to make this active. that is this slide active. And if I want to create a new presentation, I can use Ctrl+N on the keyboard. And now I have a new presentation opened within Microsoft PowerPoint. And when I move to the title bar, I have the name as presentation 1. And anytime you create a new presentation, you are going to have this default name given to it. And this is presentation 1. When I utilize the keyboard shortcut once again, I have another presentation open, and this becomes presentation 2. Therefore, you have to give your own or your personal name, that is the personal file name, to this presentation, because always you are going to have this default name for your presentation. And this takes us to another keyboard shortcut, and that is Ctrl+S. Because this is a new presentation, you can use Ctrl+S, because this keyboard shortcut is used for an existing presentation or a new presentation. This gets me to the backstage view of Microsoft PowerPoint, and the save as command is selected. So I can navigate through these options, that is the recent, this PC, or browse, and choose a location to save this particular presentation. I'm going to click on browse. This is going to provide me with a save as dialog box, and I can choose a location from this navigation pane and save this particular presentation. I'm going to ignore this particular option, so I'm going to press the escape key on the keyboard. Now, in a front stage view of this PowerPoint presentation, if I want to open an existing presentation, that is, if I have already created a presentation that is saved on this local computer, I can use Ctrl+O on the keyboard. This takes me to the backstage view, and I have the open command selected, and I can glance through these presentations that I have here. And if I want to open any of this presentation, then I'm going to select that particular presentation and left click. Now this is sorry, we couldn't find this particular file path, and is it possible it was moved, renamed, or deleted? So if you have that file deleted or moved from a particular location, then you can't open that particular presentation. So anytime you use Ctrl+O and get to your PowerPoint presentation, you just click on the file, and that is going to open on your desktop. So I have this beautiful presentation open that talks about Camtasia, which is a video editor and also a screen recorder application. And this is the presentation I've opened using the Ctrl+O on the keyboard. In this case, if I want to print this particular presentation to a connected printer, I can hold Ctrl+P on the keyboard. Then this moves me to the backstage view where I have the print command selected, and I'm going to have this print configuration interface where I can choose the number of copies, the type of printer, and also I'm going to adjust all these print settings to suit my preference. And when I'm done, I'm going to choose this print command to print this particular presentation that we have here on a hard copy format or through our connected printer. So Ctrl+P gets us to the backstage view, and we are going to access the print settings configuration and print out our content. If I want to move back to the front stage view, I'm going to use the escape key on the keyboard. In this case, if I hold the Alt key on the keyboard, I'm going to have these letter representations on this menu bar, that is the individual tabs that we have on the menu bar. And also your quick access toolbar is also going to contain some number representation, and that is if your mouse is not connected to your computer or your computer system, then the Alt key on the keyboard will give you the room to manipulate this particular interface. So if I want to access the insert tab on the menu bar, I am going to press the letter N, and then I'm going to have the insert ribbon activated based on the insert tab. And in this case, if I want to insert a picture into my presentation or to insert a shape into my presentation, then I'm going to use the letter P or the letter SH on the keyboard. So if I press SH, and this should be in the fast mode, and this is going to take me to the shapes dialog box, and I can use the arrow keys that is the up and down, and also the left and the arrow key to select a shape in this particular interface. And when I'm done, I can press the enter key. So based on this illustration, if you want to get access to certain commands, you can use the Alt key. And as usual, you will never make your mouse inactive. You have to make sure that your mouse is always appropriate and also working or functioning very well, so that some actions that will be difficult with the keyboard, you can use the mouse. But most of our actions in an interface can be done by the computer keyboard. So let's assume I want to insert a picture. The Alt key, the letter N, the letter P, and this is going to bring out this insert options or context menu. And we have this device, stock images, and also online pictures. And if I want to move to this device and access a particular picture, I am going to use the letter D, and this will take me to the insert picture dialog box. And this is the navigation pane, and in this pane I can use the tab key and the arrow keys to navigate through these sections. And when I get access to my image which I want to insert into my presentation, then I can select the image, and after doing so, in this insert option, without the mouse clicking, you can use the Alt key and the letter S on the keyboard, and that is going to insert your image into your presentation. Let's assume I want to have this in a different slide. I am going to select this section, click, and I'm going to have this red line drawn, and press the enter key on the keyboard, and this is going to be a new slide. And to make this a blank slide, I am going to select one of these text boxes and then hold Ctrl+A on the keyboard and use the delete key on the keyboard. This is going to delete all the items and make this a blank presentation. All these items that you see here are embedded using the slide master onto the slide, and therefore you can't delete this from the slide. So I can go back to this slide, select this, and this moves us to the next keyboard shortcut, Ctrl+X. This is going to cut this item into the clipboard of Microsoft PowerPoint. Then I can use my arrow keys to navigate through this slice, and when I get to the last slide, which is this particular slide, I can use Ctrl+V on the keyboard. Therefore, this has pasted this cut item, which is in the clipboard history of Microsoft PowerPoint, into this particular slide. And when I click, I have this inserted into Microsoft PowerPoint, which is Banahene Tutorial Collections channel logo. And if you are new to this channel, I will urge you to subscribe and also like, share, comment, and let's collaborate in the comment section. As usual, when you subscribe to this channel, you become part of this great community. And our slogan is we always learn and learn together. So on this channel, we make tutorials very simple because we provide intuitive and well explanatory videos on this particular channel. So get into this channel, subscribe, and be part of this great community. Now back to this video. In this case, when I move to this section, and this is a text in this text box, if I select and hold Ctrl+A, and if I want to bold this text, that is, I want to make it dark to change its appearance or its typeface, I can use Ctrl+B on the keyboard. And as you can see, I have bold this particular text, and this is a very different typeface from this particular text. So Ctrl+B is used to bold a selected text. Now in this case, if I want to move to my slideshow by starting from the beginning of this slide that I've created here, I can use the F5 on the keyboard, and this is going to jump me to the slideshow in Microsoft PowerPoint, and this is the first slide I have in my presentation. And if I want to showcase this to my audience or in the presentation room, I can use the right arrow key, the left arrow key to move backwards, right, forward, 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 and this is the last slide in this slideshow. If I use the forward arrow again, and this is going to end my slide. So you can see from this text that we have here that says end of slideshow. Click to exit. So this is the end of the slide, and if I want to move backwards, I can use the left arrow key and this is going to move me to the beginning of this slide. We can also use the letter N and P on the keyboard. If I use N, this moves me to the next slide, next slide, next slide, next slide, and that moves me to the end of the slideshow. And if I use the letter P, this moves me to the previous slide, and then this directs me to the beginning of the slideshow. So these are some of the keyboard shortcuts in Microsoft PowerPoint, and that is going to make your work very easy and also makes you a smarter person in Microsoft PowerPoint. If I use the escape key on the keyboard, this is going to cancel my slideshow. Now let's assume that in this slide I have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and I want to enter into the last slide without starting from the beginning. I can select this slide and then use the shift key and the F5 on the keyboard. So this jumps me to this particular slide, which is the last slide in Microsoft PowerPoint. If you want to start from the beginning, you use the F5 on the keyboard. But if you want to start from a specific slide in your presentation, then you use the shift key and the F5 on the keyboard. So if you want to cancel, escape on the keyboard. Now let's assume that in this presentation I want to zoom in or zoom out. I can use the control key and use the scroll wheel on the mouse, and this is going to zoom in that particular slide that you are located. So if I use the control key and the scroll wheel, that is scrolling down, this is also going to zoom out. Now if you are in the slideshow mode, you can also use this technique, F5. Then in the slideshow mode, if I want to zoom in to this particular area, I will move my mouse pointer to this section, hold down the control key and then scroll up, and when you do so, you are going to have this hand symbol or hand pointer, and you can click to zoom and hand pan. That is, you grab your interface and drag it to a particular section that is going to be the zoom area. You drag, so this helps you to zoom in and then showcase a particular point or section of your presentation to your audience in the presentation room. So you make sure that your hand is on the left mouse button, then you drag and then point out certain things whilst you are in the zoom section. If you want to cancel, you can press the escape key on the keyboard. So you hold down the control key, scroll up to zoom in, and then you hand pan, you hold and drag to a particular section, and that is going to focus on that area in the zoom section. You can also right click to cancel the zoom level. Now in a presentation, you can hold Ctrl+L on the keyboard. This activates your laser pointer, and you can use this laser pointer to point out things on your interface of your slide show. If you want to cancel, you can press the escape key on the keyboard, and this gets you to the normal pointer of your mouse. In this case, you can also use Ctrl+P on the keyboard. This is going to activate the pen tool, which can help you to draw around certain objects. You can use to point out certain things and also to draw in the slideshow mode. So this is the pen tool. So the pen tool allows you to draw and also point out things, make some indications, and then this is going to allow your audience to identify whatever you are doing in your slide show. Do you know, as a presentation personnel or a Microsoft PowerPoint user, you can also draw using the whiteboard or the black mode in Microsoft PowerPoint. So in this case, if I want to jump into the whiteboard, I'm going to press the letter W on the keyboard, and this gives me a whiteboard. And if I have any indications, any drawings, any illustrations I want to showcase to my audience, this is going to turn their attention from the normal slideshow to this whiteboard. Therefore, your audience will be sitting in the presentation room asking themselves questions. what is this guy going to do on this whiteboard. This is where you can draw certain things to show their attention, where you can make some indications, you can make some drawings to let them know what you are doing, and this is going to draw the attention of your audience. This is going to make more engaging and also interesting presentation in your presentation room. So this is called the whiteboard, and that is going to make your presentation very engaging, and that is also going to engage your audience, make them ask questions, and also share the ideas on whatever is happening in this particular presentation room. If you want to cancel, you can press the escape key on the keyboard. Now if you want to get into the black mode or the blackboard of your presentation, you press the letter B on the keyboard. This also gets you into the presentation, and then you can use Ctrl+P, and in this case you can also draw in this whiteboard. If you want to change the color of this, so you make sure that you get into the normal slideshow, click on this pen tool, and then you can choose any of these colors that you have here, and when you are done, you press the letter B on the keyboard. Then you have this color given to your pen. You can draw, making some indications, and as usual, based on whatever you are sharing or the idea you want to collaborate with your audience, you can do so using this blackboard, and you can change the color of your pen tool by using this option. So anytime you click, you can change the color, and that is going to make your pen tool have this particular color that was chosen from this particular option. So when you click, you can change the color. And also when you are doing this and you hold Ctrl+E on the keyboard, this is going to erase all drawings in your slideshow, and also it can also activate the eraser icon. So when you click, this helps you to erase all drawings that you have in this presentation. So as you can see, I am erasing all these drawings that I made using the pen tool. So if I press the escape key, I'm going to cancel and then have my normal pointer in this presentation application. Now anytime you are having your slideshow in Microsoft PowerPoint, when you right click and choose the letter A, you are going to have all your slides shown in this presentation. Therefore, this helps you to quickly jump into a specific slide. Let's assume that you have about 30 to 40 slides created in Microsoft PowerPoint, and you want to get access to a particular slide that is maybe 31 or 32. This option will be the best option for you. So when you do this, you just click on the slide, then you have that particular slide open in your slideshow mode. So you right click the letter A, you jump into this all slides presentation or all slides interface, then you select a particular slide, and are going to have it pop up in your slideshow mode. Another way is if you have all number of slides in your head, then it is very simple to navigate through your slideshow. So if I want to get to the last slide in this presentation, which is slide 5, I am going to press the number 5 on the keyboard and press the enter key. This will jump me into that particular slide. So if I press 1, enter, this jumps me to slide 1, 3, enter, slide 3, 4, enter, slide 4. So you can see how this keyboard is helping us to get access to our slides in the slideshow mode. So as usual, and also presently, you have really understand that being a keyboard fanatic is going to be a smart decision you are going to take. And always when you work with your keyboard shortcut, it makes your work very easy and also very quicker for you, and also completing your tasks or activities make it very effective as well. So you always have an effective and efficient work done when you are working within the computing environment. So combining your computer skills and the keyboard shortcut is a very good decision you need to take, and you need to keep on practicing to make yourself a smarter and also a very good user of your computer system. So navigating through your slides in the slideshow mode, you can use a number and the enter key, and that is going to jump you to that particular slide in a quicker way. Now in your slideshow mode, if you press the F1 on the keyboard, this is going to showcase to you the slideshow help dialog box, and in this case you are going to have all the general shortcuts you can utilize in the slideshow mode. So we have the letter N, left click, space bar, right, down arrow, enter, page up and page down, and this helps you to advance to the next slide or animation. We also have the letter P, which also shows you all these options that we have here, which says this returns you to the previous slides or animation, and also when you right click, it gives you a pop-up menu or takes you to the previous slide. So these are some of the keyboard shortcuts in Microsoft PowerPoint, especially when you are in the slideshow mode. You can take a picture of this dialog box, or if you are good in writing or typing, you can write them somewhere, and always practicing this keyboard shortcut. To cancel this window, you click on this X button, or you hold the Alt key and the F4 on the keyboard. Now whenever you are in the slideshow mode and you want to view your taskbar, or you want to access your taskbar, maybe if you want to open another window or get access to other activities on your taskbar, you can use Ctrl+T on the keyboard, and you can see that I have activated my taskbar or my Windows taskbar. Now another shortcut that can help you to view all your slides in Microsoft PowerPoint in the slideshow mode is to press the letter G. This is also going to showcase you all the slides, and you can quickly click on any of these slides and have a view of it in the slideshow mode. So you press the letter G, then you click on your slide. Now as usual, if you want to cancel your slideshow mode, you press the escape key on the keyboard. Now I am back to my presentation software, which I have all my slides in the slide pane, and also I have my slide area, which is going to showcase the content I have in each slide. Therefore, when I select this and then hold Ctrl+C on the keyboard, this copies this item into the clipboard, and when you move to the home tab in the clipboard, we have this dialog box launcher. We click on this arrow, and that is going to view all this copied item in our clipboard task pane. So you can see that this is what I copied recently, and if you could remember, I also use Ctrl+X to cut this item. So I have these two items in this task pane of the clipboard. So Ctrl+C is used to copy an item into the clipboard of your task pane. So in this case, if I hold Ctrl+V on the keyboard, this is going to paste this copied item, and I can place them side by side, and I have this on my slide area. I can also use Ctrl+Shift and then use my left mouse button to reduce the size, and that is going to have a perfect reduction of your image to retain or portray the ratio or the size given to this particular image. So Ctrl+Shift and using the left mouse button, you can use this to increase or decrease the size of an image in Microsoft PowerPoint, and that's going to maintain the actual size given to this particular image, and this is not going to distort your image size or the appearance of your image. Merging the computer skills with the keyboard shortcut, you can see how perfectly we are creating a beautiful presentation, and also how we are manipulating our items in our presentation software. When I move to my slide pane, which is this particular section, and select a particular slide, when I hold Ctrl+D, this is going to duplicate this slide, and I'm going to have a similar of it in the slide pane. So Ctrl+D on a particular slide in the slide pane is going to make a duplicate of it. If I select any of these slides and press the delete key on the keyboard, I am going to delete that particular slide. If I select a slide and get to its slide area to have a view of its content, this is an image I have on this slide. if I select this image and hold Ctrl plus D, this is also going to make a duplicate of this particular slide. So Ctrl plus D is known as smart copying in Microsoft PowerPoint. It makes a duplicate of an item in Microsoft PowerPoint. So I can delete this. Now this is a text box, and this is the text that we have in this text box. So if I click between this text, I'll have the text activated. That shows that we have this border around this text, and this is the text box that is containing this particular text. So if I click on this text box and move it away, I'm moving this text box including the text that is involved. Therefore, I'm going to use Ctrl plus Z on the keyboard to undo this action. Now if I click and drag over all this text, that is going to select this particular text, and as usual, using the mouse is a bit time consuming. So if I click in this text box, having my cursor blinking, Ctrl plus A is going to select the entire text. As usual, the mouse also helps you to select this at a go. If I click and check this particular text box, that is clicking on this text box, this is going to select the entire text box including the text. Therefore, this is already having the left alignment option given to it. So if I hold Ctrl plus E on the keyboard, this is going to align this text to the center in this particular slide area. So if I use Ctrl plus L, left, Ctrl plus E, center. Also, if I use Ctrl plus R, this is going to align this text to the right margin in this particular text box. So this keyboard shortcut allows you to align your text in a particular text box. When I click in this slide area to make the entire slide area active or activated, when I use Ctrl plus F on the keyboard, this activates the find dialog box, and this allows me to search for a particular item in this particular slide area. So if I select this field and type start, now when I click on find next, you see that this particular item is selected. Find next, I move to the next slide that contains this particular text. Find next. Now it says that that was the last match we found. Okay, now if I check and then type another item, record, because I am not using any of these options here, that is match case or find whole words only, this is going to find or locate any item that goes with this particular set. So if I click on find next, this takes me to this slide that says recording. Find next, this takes me to the first slide. You can also use the letter F because this option has this letter F underlined. So if I use F, this jumps me to a slide that contains this search. So you can see how I am navigating through my slides using the Ctrl plus F on the keyboard. So this is called the find dialog box in Microsoft PowerPoint. You can also match as case, and that is going to specifically look for this particular word. So if I choose find this, you see that this is matching these items. So any item that starts with a capital letter is going to be ignored because I say match case. So you can see that these are found, but it is not locating this particular item because this starts with a capital letter. So this is Ctrl plus F in Microsoft PowerPoint. In this particular interface I have here, let me move to this slide. I have these two logos or these images here. You can group this image to form one particular image, and to do this, you select one image, hold down the Ctrl key and select this. This is going to make these two images selected. Therefore, I can use Ctrl plus J on the keyboard. This is going to group this image and make them one particular image. So I can move them around. I can change or reduce the size. I can make it or modify it to my preference. So you can see that as I am using this knot around, this is distorting the size or the aspect ratio of these images. So I can use Ctrl plus Z on the keyboard to undo this action. Therefore, when I use Control Shift and then use the left mouse button, you can see that I am decreasing the size, but I am still maintaining the aspect ratio of these images. So Control Shift and drag using the knot of these images, and this is a grouped image and also a very well aspect ratio of it. If I want to ungroup this, I'm going to hold Control Shift and the letter G, and that is going to ungroup these images. We have these individual images selected. When I hold Ctrl+H on the keyboard, I have the replace dialog box. So it says find what and replace with. If I find a specific word in this presentation and I want to replace it with another word, let's say choose to produce or edit your video. I want to change this edit to modify your video. So I'm going to type edit, and then in the replace with, I'm going to type modify. Now when I search find next, this is going to select this, therefore I can choose replace. So instantly you can see that I have changed this word, therefore I can adjust this by clicking on OK and adjust this text box, and then I have this word replaced by this edit option. It says we couldn't find what you were looking for. It means that the edit word that we have in this presentation is the only word that is available. You can change so many words based on your preference. That is, if you want to prove your presentation, to make some words suit your presentation, to change some errors or spelling mistakes, and also to modify your thesaurus options in presentation, manually you can do this. That is changing your words and using a replacement of other words to suit your preference, and that is going to suit your presentation that you are creating and going to have it in your next presentation. I'm going to click on OK and close this dialog box. Another way is I want to change this video to another word, that is footage. I'm going to type video, or you select this Ctrl+C, then you move to this dialog box and hold Ctrl+V on the keyboard. Therefore I have copied this and pasted this into the field of find what, and when I move to replace with, I'm going to type footage, and in this case we have replace. I can use the letter R on the keyboard, but before then you have to click on this dialog box to make this active. Then you click on find next, and this is what is selected, find this. We don't have any other item that is matching this search, therefore I can choose replace, and this is going to change this video to footage. So this is how to use Ctrl+H in Microsoft PowerPoint, that is the front stage view. When I select this text and use Ctrl+I on the keyboard, this is going to italize this particular word. What if I want to italize all the words in this text box? I'll click on this text box, or I can use Ctrl+A whilst my blinking cursor is located in this text box, and I am going to use Ctrl+I on the keyboard. Now when you click between this text box and move to the home tab in the paragraph group, we have this alignment options here. We have left, center, right, and also we have justify. So these are the options you can give to your alignment positionings of your text in your presentation slides. So currently this text box is left aligned. When I use Ctrl+J, this is going to justify this particular text, and that is going to affect any other text that you add to this particular text. So if I type, so as you can see I am typing, and this justify alignment option has affected this particular text. I'm going to undo, and that is Ctrl+J. Now this, when you move to this particular first slide, or let me utilize the last slide, if I select this image and hold Ctrl+K on the keyboard, this opens up the insert hyperlink of PowerPoint, and I can link this image to any of these slides or any other existing or external content, and this image is going to serve as a link to any of these items. So I can link this image to existing file or web page, or place this in this document, create a new document, or even link this image to any email address or any link, or I can copy a link from any website and paste this into this field, and that is going to be linked to this image. And anytime I click on this image, this is going to have a relation to those items I'm going to link up to this. Therefore, to show you a simple illustration, I'm going to place this in this document. I'm going to have this interface, and under this section, which is select a place in this document, I'm going to link this image to the first slide, and then I'm going to click on OK. But before then, you always have a preview of whatever you want to link this image to. So this image is linked to the first slide, and this is the preview of this particular slide. Therefore, when I click on OK, I have this. It says easy linking. Drag a slide onto the canvas to create a slide zoom, which allows you to quickly jump to a different slide in your presentation. And this is a prompt that PowerPoint is showcasing to me, and this is also another way of linking slides in PowerPoint. I'm going to click on OK or got it, and this is what we have, and this is linked to slide 1. Now see what happens here. If I move to the slideshow and I am navigating through my slides in this slideshow, right arrow, or using the letter N or left mouse button, if I get to this interface, that is the last slide in the slideshow, when I place my mouse pointer on this logo, I have the normal pointer. But if I place my mouse pointer on this image, I have this link icon. This is the normal pointer, and this is the link pointer. Therefore, if I click on this, this jumps me to the first slide in this slideshow. So you can see that all these shortcuts and all these activities I am showcasing to you in this video is a very productive one. Therefore, this will equip you and enhance your higher productivity in terms of PowerPoint usage. So if I want to go back to the last slide, I can also go back and link this to the last slide. I can type the number of the slide and press the enter key, and when I get here, I can click to get to the first slide. When I click on this, this costs nothing because this image is linked to nothing in my presentation interface. And when I click on this link, this jumps me to the first slide because I link this image to the first slide. Now when I press the escape key on the keyboard, now if I move to this third slide in this presentation, I have all this content available, and these images are related to this descriptive text that we have here. If I double click on a particular word and then hold Ctrl+U on the keyboard, this is going to underline that word in this text box. When I select this word and then hold Ctrl+T, this is going to bring out the font dialog box, and I can use all these formatting tools to format this particular item. I can change it to all caps. I can change the font color, and when I click on OK, you can see that Ctrl+T has opened the font dialog box for me to format this selected word. So Ctrl+U is to underline, and Ctrl+T opens up the dialog box in Microsoft PowerPoint. That is the formatting dialog box when you are in the front stage view of PowerPoint. But if you are in the slideshow mode and you use Ctrl+T, you are going to have a view of your Windows text bar. In this case, when you are modifying or having some modifications to your presentations, that is the items or the content that you are creating, you need to hold Ctrl+S to make changes to all those elements, because previously I said Ctrl+S is meant for an existing presentation or a new presentation. So if you create a new presentation and hold Ctrl+S, you have the save as dialog box to save your presentation. But if you have already saved your presentation and you are adding and also taking out some elements in your presentation, that is modification, then when you use Ctrl+S, this is going to make the changes saved to your presentation. So if I hold Ctrl+S, so this is trying to tell me that I am having this as a read only file. Therefore, to keep your change, you will need to save this presentation with a new name or a different location. Now, to not drag this to an extent, I am going to use Ctrl+Tab on the keyboard. This allows me to switch between different kinds of presentations that I have created. So this was the file that we were working on. If I use Ctrl+S, so because this is an existing file, this has saved this particular document in PowerPoint. If I use Ctrl and the tab, because this is a read only file, when I use Ctrl+S, I need to choose save as from this option, and I am going to glance through this navigation pane, select desktop. That is the location I want to save this particular file, and the file name I'm going to change this, and also change the save as type to PowerPoint presentation, and click on save. So presently I have changed this from a read only file to a savable file in Microsoft PowerPoint. And when you move to the title bar, I have the name that I gave it to this particular file. Now let's assume that you've worked with all your elements or your presentation and you want to close this active window or this active presentation window. You can use Ctrl+W on the keyboard. And because I have saved this particular file, this active presentation has been closed perfectly, and you can see I have this also opened. Another way to close this is to use Ctrl+Q on the keyboard. So you can see that I have used Ctrl+W and also Ctrl+Q on the keyboard to close all this active presentation window.